A new financial year has begun, and now is the perfect time to make sure that you're making the most of your tax benefits. This is Yolanda, and welcome to the Wealth Nation podcast. It is my goal on this platform to give you easy, actionable tips, content, and strategies that you can use to manage money well, to live abundantly, and build generational wealth. If you're new here, please consider subscribing. And if you are listening on Spotify or Apple, please leave me an honest review of what you think of our content and what would you like for us to produce for you next. All right, so today we're talking about retirement planning. It's the new financial year. We up and ready. The national budget might not be out yet, but it doesn't mean that you can't get your budget in order. So it's the perfect time now for you to start making some adjustments, for you to do some retirement planning and make the most of these tax benefits. So in this podcast, I'm going to give you an easy, actionable 3-step plan that you can put in place to build a smart and tax-efficient retirement. So the first thing that you need to do is, one, you got to save for retirement with that tax benefit in mind. Remember, when you save money in a retirement fund, you don't just prepare for the future, you also pay less taxes today, which is a very sweet thing because essentially it means that you can get government that's always taking from you. You can actually get them to fund your retirement. So you can put money into your own personal retirement annuity. Anybody can have that. Any South African, you can have as many as you want. There are a few limits. You can also have a pension fund or a provident fund. So if you're in a provident fund before March 2021, you have the old provident fund rules. If you are in a provident fund from March 2021 going forward, it's essentially a pension fund. And the difference between those two is the pension fund is the 1/3, 2/3 rule. And with the provident fund, you could take your whole lump sum out. Now we no longer have a provident funds functioning that way, where you can take your whole lump sum at retirement. Okay, if you were in the old system, you being grandfathered in and you're holding on to those same old rules. But new people, young people coming into the system, getting into the work environment, if work is telling you you have a provident fund, it is functioning like a pension fund. All right, so what are the rules in terms of how much you can contribute to both these? Essentially, any combination between the two, you can save up to 27.5% of your gross income without paying any tax on that. Over time, you can also build up extra savings that will help you withdraw more tax-free money when you retire. This means more money for you instead of you paying extra tax. Although they give us this cap of 27.5% of our gross income, the physical amount is capped at 350. Now, you won't be penalized at this point for over contributing. There's a nice little rollover method that happens. And should you roll over when you're 65, there's some nice strategies you can use there. If you want to know more about that, click the link and you can chat with me one-on-one and we can do some retirement planning for you. So the second step is you got to consider tax-free investments. And, I find myself, especially with young people that are very undecided about South Africa and, they know that and they're disciplined enough to put some money aside away for their retirement. I find myself recommending retirement annuities less and less, especially to young people these days that have not made their mind up about South Africa yet. And the recommendation that I make, where have that good money behavior in place, contribute as you would into a retirement annuity, but the wrapper you want to use here is a tax-free investment. Now, government allows you to invest 36,000 Rand a year. They need to lift that. That hasn't been lifted in a long, long time. And, inflation eating away at this. It's less and less value of that 36,000. But over time, this amount grows tax-free. You can withdraw tax-free at a later stage, and ideally you want to keep this for retirement. Because if you are on the younger side of life, if you are able to cap this amount, 36,000 Rand per annum, 500,000 Rand per lifetime per South African, you'll have that ability to really compound that money, mainly because tax-free investments don't work in the same rules as retirement money. For example, Regulation 28, where you can't have more than 45% of your retirement funds investing offshore. You don't have those limits in a tax-free investment. So it's a very powerful thing. It can compound immensely. If you invest every year, you let your money grow, you could have 6.7 million Rand after 29 years. without paying any tax when you take it out. Now, if you are investing in offshore indexes, you will be liable for those offshore taxes. but it's certainly worth it with the kind of growth you're getting with offshore indexes. Step 3 is extra savings for emergencies. Now, it's always good to have some extra money for unexpected expenses. But did you know some savings are taxed differently? And if you have your emergency savings in the bank and you have a big lump sum there, maybe 3, 4, 5 years worth of salary, you can earn some good interest, great, but you will be taxed. Now, you can earn up to 23,800 rands in interest without paying any taxes. Great. However, once you're earning more than that, all that excess will be added to your gross income, and then you will look in the tax table how you're going to be taxed. So, you don't feel the pain of this during the year. But come tax season, when you have to submit, you sing 100,000, 200,000, 300,000 in taxes, in interest income. That is massively putting up your taxes, and you need to be savvy on how you structure that. You want some one-on-one help with that, I'd be happy to help you. But, having large volumes of money like that in the bank, it just means you're paying, just as how the interest is compounding, the tax is compounding on that as well, because you're being taxed and taxed and taxed on the same thing. Right now, if you are saving in something a little bit more riskier, maybe shares or unit trust, now you don't pay tax on the first 40,000 of the profit portion when you withdraw. That's the CTG tax exemption. If you withdraw greater than 40,000, you won't pay tax on that entire amount as well. You have that inclusion rate of 40% that you're paying tax on. So very, very lucrative to look at the other investment wrappers when it comes to planning for your investment. And that's what we do at Solomon Wealth Management. We don't just look at traditional retirement products. We work with something called, I call it the retirement stack, where we have a stack of investments going towards your retirement. So it's important to plan ahead. Plan now. The earlier you start, the bigger your savings will grow, and the less that you have to contribute. Remember, if you are listening to this and you have young kids, this week I'm just finalizing an investment. A gentleman is making for 2 of his kids, 10,000 Rand each. Kids are in their teens, I think. And imagine that compounding growth. 10 grand each, compounding. It basically means these children don't have to work as hard and have that struggle and that worry for retirement. Imagine if somebody put away 1,000 Rand for you when you were young, and now you're closer to retirement. How much work would you, less work you'd have to do in terms of stressing? That doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be a slacker, but it means that there's less worry on you. Financial worry is a big worry. It's a big stressor. It kills people, and we certainly don't want that. And when you make that small contribution for your children, grandchildren, nieces, nephews now, it takes away a little bit of that stress. You're building generational wealth, and you need to consider it. So the trick here is to start planning early. The bigger your savings will grow because time is in your favor. Changing your plan later can be tricky. So it's important to set something up properly in the right kind of structures, understanding the various tax liabilities and doing it now. And that's something that I am ever ready to help you with. So book an appointment with me today. Let's create the best retirement plan for you so that you can enjoy a comfortable and a stress-free retirement. Click the link where you're watching this video or go to www.solomonwealth.co.za. Click on the Get Started button, and I would love to chat with you one-on-one.